5. So I have the pink version put together. It looks like this guy. Okay, and then there's a blue version. So once again, Julie does great videos. So these are the ones we're making. And really, I mean, what more can I say? Her videos just give great detail on how to make these blocks. Her instructions are really good. Everything's really not super complicated this time around. I did want to just kind of show you how I cut the strips, just in case there was any question to that. Of course, my nose itches every time I go live. Not until I do, but once I start, which is lovely. I love allergy season. But we're going to show you how to make sure your strips are correct in size and just getting them cut. What's the easiest way to do it? There's multiple ways. You can do whatever makes you comfortable, but we're just going to start out with one of the strips. Now, one of the key tips that I'm going to give you is that you want to make sure after you sew your strips together, measure it. Make sure it's 3.5. Mine are always just a little bit bigger because I do a scant seam. So I take it to my table and make sure that I trim it up. So I'm going to move the camera so you can see kind of what's going on so you get an idea for it. So I'm going to come down here where it's more important because, you know, we don't care about the dog in the background and all that good stuff. So you have your strip. My strip's looking pretty straight. Sometimes they can get a little waffly, and a lot of times that is either because you're cutting not necessarily straight of grain when you're cutting, or your quarter inch seam is, you know, it just has a little wiggle to it. So mine's looking pretty good, but as we lay my ruler down, you may see, I mean, there's really not too much. This one's pretty good. But because I have a small cutting surface, I'm going to have to kind of trim and scoot. I do recommend, if you've got a larger cutting surface and a larger ruler, just lining up your entire strip across your cutting mat, and you use a larger ruler and just do it all in one fell swoop. So I have this left side lined up, not only on the line on my mat, but on the line on my ruler, and I'm just trimming this little bit, you know, and this may not seem like enough to be worthwhile for you guys. And you know, these little bits, potentially not, but every little excess whoop gives you the potential to have errors. But look at how bad. For some reason at this end, I got crazy, and I have a lot. So, and that will make a big difference in your block. You have this much extra, this 1/8 inch, pretty much. That makes your block an 1/8 inch this way, and I mean, and it just keeps going. It just goes one on top of the other, makes it not stay straight and consistent. And you really want it to be that way, because in the end, we're going to make them into these lovely triangles. So you want to make sure that this triangle doesn't become too big, because then you're putting it next to other ones, and you know, you're going to want them to measure up and line up, all those fun kinds of things. And if you don't have everything nice and even, they won't meet like they should, right? So I'm going to show you how to cut this other little unit out of this guy. So I'll take that ruler out of my way, and for this we're using the Hexamore again. And remember, we're just lining up on the straight line on the bottom, and then this 6.5 inch hexagon is what we're using as our guide. So I just go and cut that angle all the way off, cut that guy, right? Then, because what's easiest for me is I just flip it all the way over, so that this little carrot, oops, we'll get you more on the screen here, this guy here, we're going to match him up. We're going to make sure this line matches up. We're going to make sure that line matches up, and just go for gold. I'm going to come all the way across here and then cut this little dog ear off, okay? Cutting off those dog ears is important for matching. And there we have that guy. Now, the second one, I'm almost repeating the process because I want to make sure this line is still straight. We're not sure, and I've learned that when I do this little dog ear, sometimes I'm not necessarily straight. So I'm going to cut the dog ear off. I'm actually going to do that line again just to keep it nice and clean. Because we're working with triangles, I just want everything to come out as close to perfect as possible so that I'm not frustrated down the road. And then I just flipped it again, and I'm just going to do this diagonal again and cut off the little dog ear. And now we have opposites, right? Except I used the wrong measurement somewhere. Because this one, nope, they're just optical illusions. It's just Friday. All right. So 3 of each of them for blue, 3 of each of them for pink, and then you're going to mix them up with your triangles. So then they look like these guys, and lay them out per her instructions. So that part's really easy because you're essentially taking these guys that you're making and adding these on. Just be mindful as you're adding these guys on as to which one goes to which, because these, right, are opposite from these. So you want to make sure that you're following the pictures and the diagrams to make sure that whichever one the mineral edge is supposed to go along and whichever one the stripe edge is supposed to go along. Just keep in mind those things so that it all lays out appropriately in the end. Just like this guy, like we made this big triangle unit, we made sure that this mineral was going against this one where the polka dots are in the middle, and then this one where the stripes are here meant the polka dots were out here in the corner. So just keep in mind all those pieces and parts of it, but it's all in the instructions. It's well done. As long as you're following the instructions or Julie's video, you should be good to go. All right, come back. And other than that, if you have questions, if you need help, if it's not making sense, just reach out to me. Otherwise, post all your stuff in the group. We like to see what's going on. I like seeing all your lovely blocks as you get them done. Hopefully you're keeping up with us and it's not giving you any headaches. But if it is, just let me know. You can reach out to me privately, call me at the store, email me, any of those things, or just post in the group. Somebody else may have had the same problem and have already tackled it, and they might have tips and tricks for you too. So don't be shy. Post in that group. We all want to see what's going on. We love sharing. And otherwise, hopefully you have a fabulous Friday and keep on stitching.